What's up YouTube, this is GalacticGod, and I'm coming at you today with some more DevPro duels. Today I'm going to be showcasing my Hero Gate deck once again. We're going to be starting off dueling against some Firefist. I haven't dueled against Firefist that much on DevPro. Here the guy, of course, bottom list my Stratos, which is normally a pretty good move, but I don't really worry about anything going out of play in this deck, so it didn't really bother me one bit. Here the guy, letting him attack and everything. I have a torrential face down. I'm just waiting for him really to summon out another monster. He plays the Monster Reborn because looking at his hand, he doesn't really have a whole lot else. I go ahead and use the Dark Hole here. Normally I don't like to waste it on just one monster, but I'm pretty sure I can get in with the attack because they don't play a lot of removal too much in Firefist. So that allows me to go with my Stratos, and I can go into Fusion Gate, and I'm able to go into Shining, and usually when you get a really strong beater on the board, sometimes Firefists have a problem getting around it if they can't get to their bear and stuff. So here I'm able to get another Voltic out. He lances for ultimately really no reason. This allows me to grab another Voltic, which allows me to then grab Stratos, which then really ultimately allows me to just go for game. That's kind of a pretty cool combo that you can do with the Hero Gate deck. Alright, so up next I'm playing some Chaos Dragons, or playing against some Chaos Dragons I should say. This hand is kind of a little interesting because I got really just a bunch of Voltics. I got Miracle Fusion and Parallel World Fusion, Fusion Gate, all this stuff. A lot of options, but not a lot of stuff that's like mismatching together at the right time, I think. So at this point when he flips up this monster, I now know that he's playing you know, Chaos Dragons. So now I'm gonna go ahead and I set both my my Torrential and my Macrocosmos. Macrocosmos is a card that can give Chaos Dragons kind of a run for their money. Unfortunately, he does have the Lila right away to kind of get rid of it, but it did do its work. I got rid of his Gores, BLS, and all kinds of really good stuff that would have helped him out quite a bit. Alright, so let's see. I believe at this point, yeah, he's going for a Card Trooper play. Just to kind of get over my monster, really. I have quite a bit of cards in hand, so this is kind of cool. Go for the Miracle Fusion. I'm able to bring out the Shining, get way over his Card Trooper at that point. He's got a lot of options in his hand. He's going for, what's he going for here? Brings out Sorcerer, that's right. Removes my monster, then goes into a Photon Bouncer. I have Dark Hole waiting for it, so it's not too bad. For some reason he Valors that, I guess just to take less damage. I feel like I'm in a pretty good position at this point. The Raikou is kind of a problem that he just set because, as you're going to see in a moment, you know, somehow Raikou is able to get around, make me miss my timing on my Shining, which is kind of whack. And at this point now I'm looking kind of not in the best of positions, although I do have the Parallel World Fusion, which allows me to bring another one out. Then I attack and I hit a friggin' Night Assailant, and now I only had one hero left out of play, and I've drawn into a whole lot of stuff that's not helping me too much. The bottom list really, you know, worked good. I got another hero, so now I'm able to go into Absolute Zero, which is good. Oh, and I now have, you know, Shining and Absolute Zero out. Just go for game. Oh. Alright, so now we're playing against some Gym Knights. I actually haven't played against a Gym Knight deck in quite a while. This was one of my subscribers that asked to duel me and wanted to see this duel up on one of my videos. So I told him I would definitely include it in my next batch of montage duels. When he saw, I even told him what deck I was going to be playing against and everything, and he asked me which one I wanted him to use, and I said anything as long as it was TCG. A lot of people always ask why I only duel TCG. Essentially it's because I'm testing out decks and I want to see how they're going to do in the actual meta. I'm not really interested in how the decks are going to play with OCG decks that are not out yet, or decks that aren't going to be available in the TCG for months or even years, you know, I mean, or unknown amount of time. And I just don't see the point in testing a deck against a deck that I'm not ever going to see at locals or regional or a YCS event. So if I was, you know, really serious about testing and figuring out how this deck would actually play against another TCG deck, I need to play against actual TCG decks. That's just a long-winded explanation of why I always pick TCG, I guess. So here's a little inconsistent problem that you might have just noticed. I now have all 3 of my fusion gates, 1 on the field, 2 in my hand, and I just draw a terraforming. This is a horrible predicament to be in. I remember I was like, oh my goodness, if this fool gets around my shining right now, I would have been like really kind of screwed. Unfortunately though, I was able to draw Voltic, which allows me to then attack with Voltic, summon another Voltic, summon another hero monster, and then fusion summon on up with Fusion Gate, which is really kind of cool. Here he's going for some kind of play. Ultimately he goes for Shockmaster. I don't think that was necessarily the best option for him at that point. I don't know if that's the only thing he has. I think Flightline to Sigma, if it was in his extra deck, probably would have been a lot better choice, but you know. Alright, up next I'm dueling against some Dark Worlds. Dark Worlds are kind of an interesting deck to duel against. Usually if you can get macro out on them pretty fast and pretty early, they kind of struggle. So here I've got my Stratos, and he goes to Dark World Lightning my back row, and I bet you he was really surprised to see that macro in a hero deck. And he still summons out some monsters, and he's got another Gates in hand. It looks like a Grapha, Monster Reborn, so he was all set to do some damage. Now I've wrapped my monster in there on purpose so I can get my Parallel World live, and I can get out a Nova that's, I'm going to get Nova's effect regardless of whether the monster goes to the graveyard or not. So it's pretty cool. It works really good in this deck. See, as you can see, I just drew right there. I'm able to use Voltic yet again to now go ahead and attack with the Heat, and then go into Shining. Some people question why I go into Shining when I'm playing a macro build of heroes, because Shining can just get so powerful that even though I'm not going to get the effect when he's destroyed of getting back hero monsters, I am going to get a huge beater on the field, which can sometimes be a massive problem for someone or for people. Now here I'm playing against a Chaos Ninja deck, a deck that I truly love a lot. And I got not really the most optimal hand. I made a little misplay here by mysticaling that in the middle of the chain. He's able to bring out White Dragon Ninja and then keep his back row alive, and that was just... And then I Dark Hole for ultimately no reason, just because I hate White Dragon Ninja. I should have just waited for him to summon the Thunder King, and then I could have Mirror Force them both right there. And then I could have saved the Dark Hole for his play right here when he summons out all these monsters. It's just a huge mistake by doing it. And as you can see from the inconsistency from a game or two ago, I now have 2 Fusion Gates and a Terraforming in my hand, and it's just not optimal at all. I'm not even sure what I could draw at this point that's going to help me out so much. Anything to get out of the predicament, and it's a macro Cosmos, and that is definitely not going to help, and ultimately what leads me to my demise in this particular duel. Alright, so up finally, I got one last duel. This time I'm dueling against, I guess you would call it like a Utopia deck. I never played against a deck like this before, so I didn't even know what I was playing against at first. I saw him go for this, and I just wanted Utopia because I didn't want him to get the draw or have a Utopia on the field, really. So I didn't know that I was playing a particular Utopia, a whole deck built and based on getting Utopia. I don't know what the official name for this deck is. But then when he goes for Utopia again, and then I see the equip card, I had to stop the thing. I was like, what does this do exactly? I don't remember. I mean, I remember reading it when I got the cards and everything, but I was like, I didn't remember at all, what that deck did. And so here I'm trying to kind of play around with figuring out how to get around this card and activate my macro at this point. Mostly because I'm like, you know what, I don't know what he's gonna do, but I know I don't want him getting materials back for any reason, or any of these equips back after he detaches them. What's pretty cool here is I'm able to go into the Parallel pretty easily, in macro deck, and it's able to get around Utopia here. Unfortunately, I couldn't get Voltic's effect off because I had used Parallel World Fusion Special Summon. It doesn't allow me to continue special summoning. Once I got rid of that second Utopia, I had a feeling that he was going to have a hard time, and at this point, I'm able to go ahead and go into the massive Voltic swing to get out all my heroes, and ultimately what leads him to defeat. It's a pretty great combo, actually. Anyhow, So this was me testing out my Hero Gate deck. Let me know what you guys think of it down in the comment section below, and if you'd like to see more duels of me testing it up on DevPro up on my channel. And I guess that's about it for now. This is GalacticGod, out.